And maybe this time, you won't follow the crowd. You won't repeat the same story. You won't choose Barabbas. You will choose truth, and you will live it every single day. But now stop, because this is where everything stops being theory and becomes reality. This is not just motivation. This is not just mindset. This is about freedom, real freedom. And there is a reason why this message matters now more than ever. Because these are the days of Easter, and most people celebrate Easter without understanding what it actually demands from them. They see it as a tradition, a symbol, a moment. But Easter is not a moment. It is a decision that repeats itself every single day of your life, because what happened then is happening now, not in the same form, but in the same dynamic. Look carefully at the world around you, not with emotion, with clarity. People today are not chained, but they are controlled, not by force, but by fear. Fear of losing their job. So they stay silent when something is wrong. They see injustice. They see lies. They see manipulation. But they say nothing, because it's not worth the risk. Fear of being excluded. So they adapt their opinions. They stop saying what they believe. They start saying what is acceptable. They become socially approved versions of themselves. Fear of being judged. So they censor themselves before anyone else does. They don't need a system to silence them. They do it alone, in their mind, every day. Fear of being alone. So they stay in relationships that destroy them. They accept disrespect. They accept manipulation. They accept being less than who they are, just to not lose someone. Fear of missing out. So they follow trends, ideas, behaviors, without ever asking, is this aligned with truth? This is the modern prison. No bars, no chains, but total control. And here is the dangerous part. It feels normal. It feels acceptable. It feels safe. But it is not freedom. It is silent submission. You were bought at a price. Do not become slaves of men. That sentence is not just spiritual. It is revolutionary, because it destroys the system of fear. It tells you, you do not belong to the opinions of others. You do not belong to the expectations of society. You do not belong to the pressure around you. You belong to something higher, and that changes everything. Because if your identity comes from God, no man can control you. No system can own you. No opinion can define you. But if your identity comes from people, people will shape you. People will limit you. People will control you. Now understand this. Freedom is not taken all at once. It is negotiated, small compromises, repeated daily. You don't wake up one day and become a slave. You become one every time you choose silence over truth, every time you choose comfort over integrity, every time you choose approval over identity. And this is exactly what happened back then. The crowd had a choice, truth or comfort. And they all cried out together, away with this man, release Barabbas to us. Luke 23:18. Think about that moment. They saw truth in front of them, and they rejected it. Why? Because truth required change. Truth required courage. Truth required responsibility, and they were not ready. And today, nothing has changed. People still reject truth, and when it becomes uncomfortable, they still choose what is easy over what is right. Jesus said, "The truth will set you free," John 8:32. But before truth sets you free, it will expose you. It will challenge you. It will isolate you, because truth demands alignment, and most people prefer comfort over alignment. Jesus also said, "No one can serve two masters. You cannot live for truth and live for approval. You cannot stand and belong to everyone at the same time. You must choose." So let me ask you something directly. Who are you serving right now? Your values or the opinions of others? Your purpose or your fear? Your truth or your comfort? Because that answer is already shaping your life. Now here is where Easter changes everything. Because Jesus didn't just teach this. He lived it fully, radically, without compromise, even when it cost him everything, even when it meant rejection, even when it meant death. And here is the point most people miss. The cross is not just sacrifice. It is the price of your freedom. You were bought at a price. That price was not symbolic, it was real. So understand what this means. Your freedom is not optional. It is not negotiable. It is already given. But here is the problem. You can still refuse it. You can still choose fear. You can still choose silence. You can still choose to belong instead of to stand. But the story doesn't end there. Because if it ended on the cross, fear would have won. Death would have won. The world would have been right. But it didn't. He is not here, he has risen. This is the turning point of everything. Because it means death is not the end. Fear is not final. Truth cannot be destroyed. Life wins, always. And if life defeats death, then what exactly are you afraid of? Being judged? Being excluded? Losing something? None of these are greater than death, and death has already been defeated. So what are you still bowing to? What are you still afraid to lose? What is still controlling your choices? Because every time you choose fear, you step away from your freedom. But today, you can interrupt that pattern. You can decide, I will not live like this anymore. I will not sell my identity. I will not silence myself. This does not mean becoming aggressive. It does not mean fighting everyone. It means standing, calm, firm, clear. It means living in a way where your values are not for sale, where your identity is rooted, where your direction is chosen, not imposed. So I ask you one last time, where in your life are you still choosing Barabbas? Where are you choosing comfort instead of truth? Where are you choosing silence instead of courage? Where are you choosing approval instead of freedom? Name it, because clarity begins with honesty. Then take one step, not 10. 1. Speak once. Act once. Stand once. Because freedom is not maintained by intention. It is maintained by action. Daily. And from this moment on, don't just celebrate Easter. Live it in your decisions, in your voice, in your courage. Because you were not created to be controlled. You were not created to be silent. You were not created to live in fear. You were created to be free, and that freedom has already been paid for. So don't give it away. Not anymore.